So in this video, I'm going to discuss the different ways of buying Milsurp firearms. This video is definitely good for anyone that's new to buying Milsurp firearms, but also for people who have been buying a while. There's different ways of buying them, and I want to show you the ways I think is the best, or at least the best way for me to buy guns, and see if you agree, and please feel free to comment on that as well. For me, the most obvious place to buy guns is going to be the gun shop. They don't always have the stock, which is the downside. Availability is often somewhat limited as far as what they may or may not have in. One of the good things about buying from a gun store is obviously you have the ability to check the gun out. This is my M1 Garand. I actually worked at a gun store for a little while, and when I worked there, this gun came in and the stock on it was a little beaten up, and the store wasn't real happy that I purchased it. They told me, "Why did you buy that?" Of course, it's an M1 Garand, and it was in really good condition mechanically, and the bore and everything was in great condition. The only thing wrong with it was the stock. So I said, you know what, since you don't want it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go ahead and buy it off you. So I paid an extra 10% over the price we paid to get it in the store, and I took it home with me. So that was a good buy. Of course, the biggest advantage of buying a gun from a gun store is the ability to check the gun out. Certainly, you can check the functionality of the gun, make sure it's all functioning correctly. Look down the barrel, obviously after you checked it's unloaded. Take a look at the lands and grooves in the barrel. You want to make sure they're in good shape. Of course, condition wise, they may need some work on some of these guns, some may or may not, but for this gun, this was a good buy for me. I have bought other guns from gun shops as well. I bought a Mitchell's Mauser. I think I only paid like $250 for that gun. That gun was like new. Again, ability to check the gun out is always a good thing. If you can see a gun in person, definitely do that. The one downside to, of course, buying guns from a gun store is going to be availability. You're going to have limited stock. There's only going to be whatever they happen to have in at the time. That's the downside to it. But it's always worth checking in your local gun store and seeing what they do have on offer at any one moment in time. One place I've never bought a firearm from is actually a gun show. However, they shouldn't be discounted. Condition wise, same as a gun shop. You're going to have the ability to take a look at the gun, inspect it, see the overall condition of the gun, and see what you think. Is this something I want to purchase? Is this something that's worth the money? Sometimes the prices at gun shows can be elevated, so again, do your homework and know the value of the gun before you go out. Set a high limit for what you're willing to pay for that gun, and don't go beyond it. There's nothing wrong with haggling on the price, but if they're not going to come down to a reasonable price, walk away. There's always another gun down the road. Function testing on guns at gun shows can be a little difficult at times on account of the fact they do like to put zip ties on the guns. However, you can check the overall condition, inspect the barrel, check as much of it out as you can, and see the overall condition. So if you can see a gun in person, in my opinion, it's always better. With Milsurp availability at gun shows, it's going to be higher than what you would obviously if you went into your local gun shop looking for a gun. The big thing is the price. You've got to be very aware of the pricing. Sometimes at gun shows they do like to jack up the prices. Sometimes you can find a bargain. It just comes down to being at the right place at the right time. Don't be afraid to haggle on the prices, and hopefully you can get a good deal out of that. This is my SKS. I got this online, and I bought quite a few guns online. My biggest thing is reading the reviews. You really got to take time and read the reviews. You can't physically inspect the gun. Yeah, they do offer a lot of them where you can pay like an extra $30 and get the best of 10, cosmetically speaking, but I've read mixed reviews on that online. I've never done it. I've just gone ahead and ordered the gun as is and hope for the best. And my take on that is I'm not too worried about the gun cosmetically. I can fix stocks. I can steam out stocks and fix them up, not a problem. I can, fix bluing and things like that. The part where it's a problem is if you buy a gun and it's got a shot out barrel. I see a lot of, some of these sites now where they're offering guns and they're saying, barrel, poor condition. Well, what does poor mean? Does that mean it's going to keyhole every time you pull the trigger? If you're going to have to replace a barrel, that's going to get expensive. I have some gunsmithing skills myself, but I limit myself. I'm not going to do things I think are beyond my comfort level of replacing a barrel. Is certainly not something I'd want to try myself. So you got to kind of decide, if you read the reviews and you look at a gun and it looks good, the reviews are pretty good, then it's definitely worth rolling the dice. But again, you gotta look at cost, and with cost they can vary. Sometimes the price is really good, sometimes they're on sale and you can get a good deal, but other times the prices are a little on the high end. And I'm going to illustrate that with my final way of purchasing guns. So my final way of buying a gun is going to be online again, but this time through online auctions. I have had more success with this method, and I know with the auctions sometimes people get crazy high prices, but you just got to be patient. It's not a case of buy the first gun out there, and if don't get into bidding wars too. You can't get too emotionally involved in this. You got to say, okay, I'm only willing to spend so much money on a gun, and that's it. Once it passes that price, let it go. There's always another one. Now, why do I like auctions? The first reason why I like auctions is going to be condition of the gun. They're going to have a description in there so you can read through that. It's going to give you a much better idea of the gun, and most importantly, pictures. Pictures. You've really got to inspect the pictures and take a good look at what they're selling. This is my Lee Enfield Mark III. This gun I actually only paid $400 for. It's a really beautiful rifle. It's made in 1936, and it's one of the ones that was done for the Iraqi contract. Now, I've seen guns the same as this online at some of the stores for like $550, and they're in way worse condition than this. Again, I got lucky. The auction price was good. No one was really bidding on it. I think I had one guy bid against me on it, and he dropped off pretty quickly. And you know, I stayed within my range, and this is what I got in return. It's a beautiful rifle. Barrel wise was in good condition. And yeah, like I say, you just got to really do your homework and research and really look at the pictures. If they have bad pictures, again, stay away from them. Obviously, you can't function test a gun when it's online, but a lot of them, they do have, some of the auction sites I use, is they have the ability to send the gun back if it's not what you expected. Obviously, availability as well is going to be something that's good when you go in onto auction sites looking at firearms. Again, like I said before, price wise it can be high. Stay away from them and just keep looking. It's also worth mentioning as well with auctions too, you know, same thing really applies with modern guns as well. The nice thing about it is you can really look at the pictures and see. I've been wanting to buy one of these a long time. As I've mentioned in another one of my videos, I'm originally from the UK, and this is a gun I used to own in the UK. This gun got banned because they banned handguns there. So I always wanted one, so I did get one, as you can see. However, I didn't want to buy one from one of the online gun shops. Reason being is this is obviously stainless steel, and I didn't want to end up with something that was scratched up. Now, could I have potentially been lucky and got a good one? Yes, but until that gun shows up in the store, you really don't know what you're buying. So something like this, again, looking at an auction, I think is the way to go. And I didn't really pay any more for this gun than I would have if I'd bought it on one of the big dealers online. So summing up, where do I think is the best place to buy a gun? I think for Milsurp, personally, I've had a lot of success online auctions. That is my favorite place to buy guns. Yes, I will buy them from the online gun dealers if I have an opportunity to buy one at a fairly decent price. However, at the same time, I'm definitely going to, as I said before, read the reviews before I do so. Obviously, gun shops, if you walk in a gun shop and see a good deal, grab it. And also, as I mentioned before, checking out, you know, your local gun shows is always a good idea. But as I say, for me, overall, what's worked the best has definitely been auctions. Please feel free to, you know, leave a comment and let me know what you think and what's your favorite way of buying Milsurp.